Welcome to Level 20 Sportsline. I'm Mike Migliori with Chip Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Al Levine, the Talking Machine. We've got a great show for you tonight. We got a couple of special guests coming in. We've got a great crowd at the Level 20 Lounge. Come on down and see us. We're here every Monday except the second Monday of every month when the camera crew has another commitment. But we are here for a great show, and we start out every show with What's on Your Mind. Al, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind is we're going to miss Labor Day because it's on a Monday. So there'll be another Monday that we miss, but we will be here next week, just so you know, because there was a lot of people coming around here in Bethel Park. They wanted to see the show, and we weren't here last week. And then I wanted to give a shout-out to Rayco War Sanders. I gave him a special invite to come here tonight for an exclusive interview, and we'll be talking to Rayco a little later. So thanks for finding Bethel Park here. Appreciate it. And what's on my mind is I want to thank Level 20 for letting us come into their establishment, talk sports, stir up a little controversy, have some nice drinks here. We'll watch everybody else drink and eat the food. They have a new menu, and I'm not sure, Aaron, if you could draw in a close-up of this menu. As everybody knows from our regular show on Tuesday, Aaron Ward is the best business partner Smoking Jim Frazier has ever had. And we have Devin here, who he's controlling everything there. I can't even describe what he has. He has a whole board of stuff there. And how does that look, Aaron? Okay, thanks. And since I usually do infomercials, I did want to mention that Hugathon Pittsburgh is September 6th. We had a lot of fun in that Schenley Plaza. It was not Schenley Park. Those rumors about Schenley Park, we were not that close to Schenley Park. We just checked the logistics on it again. But September 6th will be in downtown Pittsburgh at the Doubletree Hotel. And you're all welcome to come out to Hugathon Pittsburgh. And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Al. Is there any room in your mind for anything else?
I have a couple other things.
Sure.
There's some conspiracy theories about Louis Freeh. If you want to check out some Penn
Louis
State.
who?
Louis Freeh. Okay. He was an FBI director. He also is involved in some conspiracies. And since you got me started, why did Penn State pay $6 million for a report that really isn't based on too much fact? Just check it out. So you can look around. Friend me on Facebook. There's some information there for you, folks. And I have more, but let me hit a period right now. It's our time to see what else is on everybody else's mind. Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Jim, what's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, man. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you what's wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's the problem with the Steelers right now. The running back game. Listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers currently don't have a running back on their roster that's healthy, that's ever started a regular season National Football League game. You got Isaac Red Zone Redmond. This guy is the only player ever to make the National Football League from Bowie State. You got Jonathan Dwyer, who's overweight and often injured. You got Baron Batch, who is small, short, makes up for it by being slow. And you got a guy that I love. I love Chris Rainey. The only problem is he's 170 pounds. Listen, at 170, he's not going to block a defensive end or linebacker in this league. In fact, Chris Rainey went and hit a blind Jeffrey Dahmer sprinkling hot sauce on his girlfriend in the middle of the Million Man March. This is what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do. They need to bring in a veteran running back. Then you can't get Willie Parker. Fast Willie Parker is coaching now tight ends at West Virginia Wesleyan for $500 a month. He's not going to leave that kind of money to come back to the National Football League. You got Amos Airway, who wasn't any good in his prime. And you got Jerome Bettis, who's been out of the game for 7 years, about to go into the Hall of Fame. What the Steelers need to do is bring in Thomas Jones. Thomas Jones played at Kansas City last year for current offensive coordinator Todd Haley. Thomas Jones is in great shape. He's sitting at home right now waiting for the phone call. And in fact, you bring Thomas Jones in here, and I guarantee you, if he can't run the football, Tom Jones, I bet, can sing.
That's what I was going to say. Thanks, Jim. Chip? What's on your
Have
mind?
some more water.
How do I follow that? Jeff, you're off a lot of energy on a Monday night, buddy. You must have got a lot of sleep over the weekend.
You can't follow that. You can only hope the echoes died down.
I haven't been on the show for a few weeks, and the Olympics ended up a couple of last weekend, I guess. And my one thought about the Olympics, and it was a big extravaganza, and there was a lot of records set, and a lot of gold medals and a lot of attention. And the big story was Michael Phelps became the greatest Olympian ever. He's won 486 medals or something like that. And and I think, and just in my humble opinion, that the Olympics has lost its luster. Now that the Olympics is performed by professional athletes instead of the amateur athletes. The thing that made the Olympics great, and what I thought was really worth watching, was watching these amateur athletes perform in their sports, and they would make their millions doing something other than the sport that they were playing in. But when you've got a guy that can do nothing but swim in a pool, every day for 12 or 13 years and make millions of dollars, it just seems to take a little bit of the shine off the gold medals. And the dream team. The fact that the United States has to get their best professional players to beat the also-rans of other countries, I just think it's a bit overkill. I used to like watching the American college players beat the best that the world had to offer. But the Olympics are what they are, and I just think they're a big disappointment. But that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Chip.
Welcome back, Chip.
Yeah, good to have you back. Thanks a lot. After 80 years, the Augusta National Golf Club finally has 2 female members. Wow. Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State, and was talked about as possibly being vice president running mate for Mitt Romney, and South Carolina financier Darla Moore. Both of these women were allowed membership into the Augusta National Golf Club the first time ever. This was probably held up by, in 2001, 2002, a bunch of protests that were complaining because there were no members. At that time, the president of the golf club was Hootie Johnson, who said that someday they might have members, but not at the point of a bayonet. Well, you know what? He was probably right. There was no reason to let somebody force them to do it, but it's about time that they did do it. I don't think that it hurts a golf club to have female members. I think it's a great choice for the first 2 members, and I think that the Augusta National hosts the greatest golf tournament every year, the Masters. And Tiger Woods said he thinks it's a good thing for golf, and if Tiger thinks it's good, I think it's good. So, and you know what? Since we're on the women's issues, we were going to bring this guest on a little bit later, but Carissa, would like you to come on up. We have with us Carissa Livingston, local model, local actress, and Carissa this Friday is hosting a charity event, and we'd like Carissa to tell us a little bit about it.
Well, thank you for having me. Hopefully I don't have to talk as loud as you guys. I don't think I can. I am hosting the first Ladies' Night for a Cause event this Friday. It's going to be at the Wine Loft of Pittsburgh. It's in the Southside Works. It is sponsoring for the Women's Shelter of Pittsburgh and Gwen's Girls, 2 charities that I've volunteered for a very long time. We're expecting 150 guests. It's from 8 to 11, so if anybody's interested, come on down.
Did you say Gwen Girls?
Gwen's Girls.
Gwen's Girls.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, founded by Gwendolyn Elliott. She was
she
the
passed
first.
away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do some great things for disadvantaged young women in the city of Pittsburgh. They got a few locations. I think they're going to relocate to the north side. So yeah.
Yep, they actually just moved. They're now on the north side.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what will go on at the event?
During the event, we're going to have wine tasting. Our liquor is also sponsored by Click Vodka, so we have to thank them. We're going to have manicures, makeovers, shopping. It's just going to be basically a red carpet ladies' night for everybody to get together and support women from Pittsburgh.
Okay, and there are some local businesses that are involved in helping you with that?
Yes, I've gotten an amazing amount of feedback. I'm actually partnered with Asiya and Your LLC. They're helping me with all the planning. Click Vodka, they're with me. They're the official liquor sponsor for the event. Charity by Dawn Lily Cosmetics, Chelsea's of New York. Lots of styling and beauty companies, and Stella and Dot Accessories. They're one of them too.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about it?
If it goes well, we're going to do it yearly, so hopefully we get a lot of people, a lot of feedback, and we raise some money for the charities.
Okay, and why don't you tell them one more time the time and location?
It's Friday. It starts at 8 p.m. at the Wine Loft in Southside Works, and it goes on until 11.
Now I can't come Friday to get my manny and
You can. Gentlemen, welcome as well.
I like ladies night.
See those fingers.
Get waxed,
And Carissa, do you have a Facebook page for this event?
Yes,
Because I've seen it already out there. So.
Yes, it's under just Ladies Night for a Cause. You can also look up Carissa Lauren on Facebook, Carissa Lauren on Twitter. It's also sponsored through Primpton Pittsburgh. We have lots of media outlets as well.
Any website or phone number for anybody who has any questions?
No, it's basically just through Facebook, or you can go to www.primptonpittsburghpgh.com. They have it on there as well.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And,
Thanks for having me.
We heard Jim's opinion. What do you think the Steelers are going to do this year?
Is there a
You know
cricket
sports?
button?
You know sports? You're allowed to talk?
No.
Well, then make a wild
that's
guess.
great.
There's 16 games.
I'm from Pittsburgh, so obviously I'm going to hope they do well. I know they have. I'll still wear my jersey. So,
There you go.
go.
Well,
Gotta
thank you very
represent.
much, and
yeah, thanks for
we may
having
have
me.
you back up.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
And good luck with your event.
Thanks.
Hey, we got to talk to the owners. Anybody gonna raffle off the Mike Wallace jersey on the?
We'll get Tracy and Colin there. Do we have a bid on that?
I hear Mike's looking for a paycheck.
You may have to raffle it off to feed
I
them.
think you should be the auctioneer, Smoking Jim, so they can hear you in the back. I mean, at Pep Boys. Look at Pep Boys is listening to the show.
And if you notice, that jersey's got something that his paycheck don't have on it. His signature.
There's not enough zeros for him either, though.
Well, last night was a pretty big sports night here in Pittsburgh. On one hand, the Pirates did, despite their best efforts, they won a 19-inning game against St. Louis Cardinals and took a little bit of a step away from them as far as the wild card race goes. We have back our Pirates expert, Chip. What's going on with the Pirates?
Well, right now, they're 67-44. Look at that. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates on August 20th. And you want to know something? There were people in Pittsburgh last night that didn't know the Steelers were playing. That hasn't happened here in a couple of decades.
What, were they too drunk in the lot?
Because
they were drinking out there. I saw them there. That happens all the time. That's why this is different than our other show. Chip, go ahead.
We've got a team that's contending, and I thought about a month ago that we would actually contend for the Central Division title. Cincinnati separated themselves from everybody else. They just got incredibly hot when they lost their star player, Joey Votto. But the Pirates have been keeping pace, and they're odds-on favorite for a wild card position, which, considering what we've witnessed here the last 19 years, is a far cry better. And let's not forget, back in February when we went to spring training, I said that the streak was going to end this year. I think we're well on the way to making that happen. They used so many pitchers last night, I wonder who they're going to pitch tonight. I know the starter that they were going to use for tonight, they used to win the game last night, Wandy Rodriguez.
Chip, they might have called a couple players up from the minor leagues.
That appears to be what you need to do to get Wandy to win is let somebody play for 19 innings before he pitches against them.
Last year that was a swan song for the Pirates when they lost a 19-inning game, a heartbreaker in Atlanta, and it seemed like the wheels fell off the bus after that. So I hope that we can use this as a springboard to get us into a nice competitive September.
Let me ask you this, Chip. What do you think the difference is between last year losing that heartbreaking 19th inning in Atlanta and then this year winning a 19th inning? What do you think?
That's a good question. Last year, the Pirates were playing so far over their head when they were contending. They were waiting for the bubble to burst. They were like, what are we doing here? We shouldn't be in this position. This year, I think they've got the confidence to know that they can compete with anybody. And, you've got players performing to their capabilities. Andrew McCutchen had a horrible second half of the season last year. As of late, he's been cold, but, he's still batting over 350. Pedro Alvarez has proven that he's a major league third baseman.
There you go. That's the difference. My Pirate MVP, Pedro, bombing that home run. That's the difference.
And Garrett Jones. Look what Garrett Jones did last week. He hit 2 3-run homers in one game. You know, and he's been a consistent.
And then the pitcher got thrown out because he was so upset at the umpire. How classless is that?
But seriously, Andrew McCutchen may be, a candidate for the MVP of the league, and I might know Mike made this comment 5 or 6 weeks ago, but I think the Pirates MVP this year has got to go to A.J. Burnett. I think he has solidified that pitching staff. He's the stopper that they've needed, and he brings an attitude like he's been there and he's done that. And he's won a world title, and he knows what it takes to do that. And he's able to impart his wisdom on these younger players. The one thing I would like to comment about, and I know, he's coming back from a dislocated finger. I'd like to see the Pirates hang a paycheck on Neil Walker. I think he's somebody that they need to lock up. He's a legitimate all-star, and he's a solid second baseman. And I don't think there's a better second baseman to turn than double play in the National League.
And I like the way McDonald pinched hit yesterday. Don't count him out.
Did you watch that whole game? Because I only saw it from the 8th inning. So I got to see a full game. That's what was nice about that.
You very rarely come in on the 8th inning and see most of the game. But yesterday you did.
Exactly. I feel I'm blessed to be able to watch that.
Chip, tonight the starting pitcher is going to be Kevin Correa.
Okay.
He pitched a couple of good innings yesterday. But as far as National League MVP, I'm not too sure that's McCutchen anymore. He's been playing. I mean, he's getting a few hits here and there. He did get a couple of RBIs yesterday, but he's been not playing quite as well since the All-Star break. There doesn't seem to be as much pop in his bat. And a lot of people say, well, maybe the home run derby messed up his swing, but he really didn't have enough swings in the home run derby for that to happen. He didn't get very many hits. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. And a lot of people that compare him to Roberto Clemente, that's like way out of line because Roberto Clemente was like the premier clutch player. Yes. And, as of recently, Andrew McCutchen has not been that clutch player.
Well,
I don't know if the season's gotten long for him, if he's been tired out. He still has a nice batting average, but he doesn't get the home runs that he used to get and that people expect from him.
Well, I'll tell you the guy that's impressed me, and they brought him up in the middle of the season. People were calling for him, Starling Marte. This kid turns routine ground balls into base hits, and he's got an arm out in left field, and left field PNC Park is huge, and he covers that ground very, very well, and he's got a nice arm. He got a little banged up, and he's still learning how to be a major league ball player. Geez, the kid can't even speak English. The first base coach is his translator, They just point him in the right direction, hit the ball, catch anything that comes near you.
Baseball's international, though, Chip.
And ultimately, I think Marte is going to be really, really good for the Pirates, moving forward. And I'd like to see him be able to start stealing a few more bases because, two of the things that the Pirates are, being the worst at in the league is one is in stolen bases, and the other one is giving up stolen bases. Unfortunately, the Pirates catchers, I think, have thrown out 9% of the opposing runners, and that could be problematic for us if we do end up getting into a 3-game series with somebody. At the end of September and October, people start running on us. That could be a problem. But I mean, I think that could be part of the blame on the catchers. That's the pitcher's problem.
The pitchers don't hold a player on. They're weak.
Yeah, they're taking too big of a kick. They're taking too big of a kick. You see a guy that is going to run, and you let him walk 10, 15 feet off the base and let him run into second. That's not helping your catchers out at all.
No, and I'd like to bring up a point on Alvarez because I said send him to the minors unless he become Dave Kingman. Any of you looking back in history, if you hit 35 to 45 home runs and you bat 220, 230, so Smoking Jim, he's not the MVP, but he's the new Dave Kingman. And I'll take that because we do need some pop. And we've been winning games with home runs this year. If you would have told me we would have got more than 107 home runs, which that's all we had for the whole season. We did that a month ago.
Yeah, it was, I think, about July the 12th. We had 107 home runs, which is what we hit for all year last year. Pirates are on a pace to hit about approximately 180.
And who would have thought that, like we talked about? But
you don't have to speak English to hit a home run.
Exactly. You don't have to speak any language. But I wanted to bring up about, I renamed Chip Hainer the Prophet because last season the New York Giants were dead in the water. Tom Coughlin was losing his job. And then this guy sitting 2 seats down from me goes, the New York Giants are going to win the Super Bowl.
Against the Patriots.
Is there any chance we could keep talking about the Pirates? Just for a couple minutes.
I'm going to go back to the Pirates. That's what entertainment is. If we just stay on one subject.
Just a thought,
Got another glass of water.
Well, I'm on my second glass of water, just so you need.
That could hurt.
3 ice cubes.
You want to drown.
But anyhow, he become the prophet there. Now think about this. We were talking about the Pirates, and as he mentioned, I won't repeat that since now I'm talking the Pirates, and Chip already said that. He mentioned numerous things, and they're proving them right. So we have the prophet in baseball and football. So whatever Chip does, I got to follow him. I'm on the bandwagon all the way. I'm not drinking the nutting Kool-Aid. I'm just drinking Chip's Kool-Aid.
You wouldn't happen to have you'd be the prophet of Powerball.
No, you know what? I tried last Friday.
Give me a 4-digit.
What was last Wednesday? I tried, and my tickets came up a crapper. But and I know this is not my. I've had discussions with Mike, and I know he's not a very big Clint Hurdle fan. But I think the level of enthusiasm that he has brought to the game and the way he manages the game and his team have made the Pirates relevant again, and it sure is a lot of fun. I'll be down to watch the Friday night's game and Saturday night's game.
Where's your seats at so the
right
fans can visit you?
Right behind home plate.
Mike Vince.
Section 316. Me and my lovely wife will be enjoying a night at the ball.
My sister and brother-in-law want to know. They'll look for you.
Let me give you 2 recent examples of why I think Clint Hurdle is a poor manager and definitely does not know how to manage his pitchers. All right, first you got James McDonald in. You got a 7-1 lead. When McDonald gets a pop out, he gives up a walk, he gives up a hit, and then he gives up a 3-run homer. Right? When you give up the first 3 runs, when you give up the first 3 runs in that inning, you have to get McDonald out of there. You got these yo-yos like Kent Tekulve, who may have been a good pitcher, but he has no idea what he's talking about when he talks about baseball. And you got guys like Phil Garner coming on over and say, well, he didn't have enough time to take McDonald out. How is that possible? You call timeout and you take the pitcher out.
He was chewing that gum, Mike.
That's right. That slob chews his gum, hangs on the rail, and does absolutely nothing. Well, you know what? Look at me. I could wear that uniform. I'm about the same size. I can chew the gum a lot better than he does, and I can reach all the way up to the top rail and hang on that, and I'll do it for half the money he makes.
Well, you know what?
And then the next game,
let him finish.
You got a 3-run lead. 3-run lead, and you bring in Jason Grilli to pitch the 8th inning. Right? He gives up 2 hits, bang, bang. That's not what Grilli's supposed to do. You don't leave him in there to give up 3 runs. Okay, he gives up 2 hits. There's no rule in baseball that says that Hanrahan can only pitch the 9th inning. Bring Hanrahan in; he's your closer. Bring him in to stop that rally, and then pitch the 9th inning also. That game, both of those games, those losses were Clint Hurdle's losses. They weren't on Grilli, they weren't on McDonald, they weren't on the team, they were on Clint Hurdle.
You know what? I love Mike. I respect his point of view, and and hearing Mike criticize Clint Hurdle just makes me smile and feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Because for the years that I've known Mike, I have heard him criticize Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, Dan Bosma. No. What do those 3 coaches all have in common? World championship rings. You guys, you know what? I'm thinking that we're on the right path here.
You've never heard me criticize Tomlin. Never. Okay, and what I criticized about Bosma was just this past season. I would have fired him after that playoff route. But he's still there. I think he's a good coach. The difference in hockey, though, is you can be a good coach and still lose the team. Right after you put that system in for so long, and those players no longer want to play that system, you've lost the team. And unfortunately, in hockey, the coaches, they don't stick around that long. You see coaches rotate in and out. Bosma is the only coach that has coached the Penguins for more than 3 years.
Wow.
Yes. The only one that's ever. In fact, he's only
Scotty
ever
Bowman didn't coach him for 3 years.
No, Scotty, and that's an example of what I'm telling you. The players in hockey usually dictate whether the coaches stay or not. When Mario Lemieux got tired of practicing with Scotty Bowman, they told Bowman not to come to practice anymore. And when you're the head coach and you're not coming to practice anymore, you better look for the unemployment line.
Well, when you have Mario Lemieux buying the team, he can tell the coach.
In hockey, as you guys know, the average hockey coach lasts maybe 4 years at most. That's over time. So, I mean, they do get rid of them a lot, and that's just how it goes there. But as far as Clint Hurdle, those 2 games that he did cost, there's no doubt about it. But how many has he had that gut feeling and won this year? I can't keep track of it because he's made some moves that are absolutely crazy, but it works out with the team that they have. And he's won games that way.
And that's the problem with being a Major League Baseball manager. You know, you've got 162 chances for people to criticize you, and you're going to make some right decisions. You're going to make some wrong decisions. But if you think about where the Pirates were when they hired Clint Hurdle after that stellar season that John Russell put up when the Pirates completely
stunk. Did you say
stunk.
stellar?
Yeah, stellar.
Smeller or
stellar? Stellar, because that's what earned them the right to pick Jarrett Cole, you know, who was the number 1 pick the following year because we had the worst record. So, you know, you went from the cellar and you've got a contending team now. And you did that in 2 years with basically the same players, a few additions and subtractions here and there as pitchers. You know, I think he's got the team moving in the right direction. And all right.
Before the show, I called my bookie, Pete Rose, and I bet against the Pirates for the night. So I plan on cleaning
as long as you don't bet against the Reds.
Just bet on the Reds. That's Rose's team. You know that.
Okay, so like I said, 2 great events last night, or 2 sports talk-worthy events anyway. The Pirates and, well, it's inevitable. We've got to talk about something else. But to make that transition, like you said earlier, we've got a young model and aspiring actress here that we'll be working with some of us very soon. I'd like to bring up Shannon Falcon. Shannon, come on up.
Hi, good evening, Shannon.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right, well, before we get into your modeling, we've already talked about the Pirates. Let me ask you, is there any chance the Pirates can make the playoffs?
Honestly, with what they showed last night, I think they still have it in them to turn it around, to be honest.
You're a wise young man.
Back to the show. You can come back anytime. Come to Bethel Park. Okay?
I think I like you already.
What did they show to you last night? I mean, aside from the fact that they could get every player on the team into
Everybody
the game.
got their uniform dirty.
Well, yeah, just because it went on for so long. It went past the normal amount of innings. Just that much. I mean, come on, they're not giving up.
Twice past the normal amount of innings.
Yeah, it was like a double header.
Actually, I was listening on the radio today, and they were talking about all the different things you could do in the time it took to play that game, and one of them is walk a marathon.
Well, what was that, 6 hours and 7 minutes?
Yeah. They said you could cook a 25-pound turkey.
Al could tell you what's on his mind.
Yeah.
In 6 hours.
You know what?
You're cutting it close. You're cutting it close.
Just ask anybody at the Post-Gazette if I could go longer than 6 hours, okay?
All right, Shannon. Well, and there's a camera there. Let me ask you, you've started your modeling career, so tell me what you like about modeling.
What I like about it most is not only is it me doing what I love to do best, it's me helping other people achieve their vision and their goals. It's me working with photographers and makeup artists and all sorts of people to achieve a certain look they're going for, or maybe trying to sell a product. It's all about working together to make something great, and that's what I really love the most about it.
All right, well, thank you. And like I said, I brought you up to put this transition here. 16 games. What can the Steelers do this year?
All right. Well, they've lost a game and they've won a game. So I think right now it's.
Well, they've had the preseason games.
Yeah.
The season will be starting soon. I'm thinking now at 4-12. What do you think?
Well, it's tough to say. They do have a difficult schedule because in December, I think it's late November, early December, they will play the Baltimore Ravens, go away, play another team, and then go back and play the Ravens again.
Ooh.
That's going to be difficult. It's not a whole lot of room for error there. It's all right there.
Well, since we know that part of the schedule, and you know that part of the schedule, man, who's your favorite team?
Oh, geez, you do love controversy, don't you? My favorite team is the Baltimore Ravens.
All right! You're not welcome back to the show.
Oh, no!
can only be a guest when we're taping.
I'm going to change my name to Smoking Shannon.
Thanks for coming up, Shannon.
Thank
I think
you.
you should probably sit at this table right over here. I'm sure you'll be welcome there. But thanks for coming up,
Thank
and
you so
we'll talk to you
much.
soon.
Thanks.
Stick around, have some fun. All right, let's get this over with. Jim, what happened last night?
Steeler time.
Well, one thing that happened is my main man, Ivan Taylor, that calls himself Ike Taylor. I tell you what, he had one of the all-time great interceptions you're going to see. I tell you what, the guy could be a Pro Bowler if he makes more interceptions. I'm real proud of Ike Taylor making that interception, but there's a lot of holes in the Steelers' defense. Like I said, going into this year, I told everybody the one thing that I'm looking for is, do we put the bus on Ziggy Hood? Right now, we spent a lot of money in first-round draft choices on defensive ends, and both of them were riding the bench. So right now, we got to step up on our defensive line. Hopefully, Casey Hampton will leave Kentucky Fried Chicken and get over there and start playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But right now, you got to keep Troy Polamalu healthy, and you got to make some turnovers this year. But I'm predicting, as usual, I'm on record already predicting that the first game of the season is a blowout. Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos blow the Pittsburgh Steelers out. Put your money on it.
Wow, smoking.
Well,
Pretty strong. You know, the Steelers are going to have a very interesting year. You got a transition year going on for them. There's a lot of new faces in the defense, and it's going to be interesting to see who steps up. You know, personally myself, and I'm going to duck when I say this, and my wife doesn't throw something at me. I think the Steelers are going to end up 8-8 at best this year. I think probably have a better chance at 7-9. The other teams in our division, we used to have 5 wins at minimum every year in the AFC North. You know, you got 2 against Cincinnati, 2 against Cleveland. Those were all gimmies. And, if we go 500 in our division this year, I would consider that a major accomplishment. If we could split with everybody, but I just don't see it happening. The Ravens have gotten stronger, and, they were knocking on the door last year. And, it remains to be seen what the Steelers are going to bring to the table this year.
And one of the problems you got is offensive coordinator. Everybody knows I don't like Todd Haley. Todd Haley is nothing but a golf caddy. Listen, in 2 games, you're running the football with no running backs 75 times. Like I said before, Todd Haley does not have an offense. Todd Haley stole his offense from Ken Wisenhunt. Ken Wisenhunt stole his offense from Mike Mularkey. Mike Mularkey stole the offense from Shane Gailey. So right now you got a problem with leadership from the offensive coordinator position.
Hold it, Smoking Jim. They brought the bubble screen back.
Woo!
With your man. What did I ask for? I just wanted to know who was going to catch the ball in the bubble screen. Antonio Brown. They don't need Mike Wallace right now. He'll be back in 2 weeks to start the season, so we don't have to worry. The Steelers wave that magic wand. For some reason, Cleveland will end up losing. Cincinnati will fall apart. In Baltimore, it seems like we can win a game when Suggs isn't playing. When's he going to play? So we may have a decent season. My prediction's still 11-5. So I'm a Steeler fan, and I got fans here. Chip's wife, we may have to interview Stephanie a little later on for her Steeler thoughts. And hey, folks, don't forget, we got Rayco here for a great interview coming up.
War!
all right. Well, thanks, guys. Glad we got that over with. And, well, if you watch this show, if you watch the Pittsburgh Sportsline, if you watch me on Steel City Sports World, every time we talk about local boxing, I talk about this particular boxer, one of my all-time favorite, probably the best, most in shape boxer that I've seen fight. And again, one of my all-time favorite. I'd like to bring Rayco War Saunders up. Rayco, come on up.
All right, War!
And Box says, thanks for coming. Thank you very much.
Show the
Great
book.
to
Show
see
the
you.
book. Get a view of the book.
I'm a senator over here.
Here, I'll promote it.
It's nice to meet you.
I'll promote it a little bit. I told you. Let me hold the book. I want to read it, though. Can I hold this copy and keep it?
Beautiful thing. Yeah.
I'll give it to you in another day or
Show
two.
it to the camera.
Let's
There you
get a
go.
nice shot.
So what's up?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. You know, just relaxing and trying to do some things.
All right, well, tell us what you've been doing.
Well, I've been just been working on book lately, and also the fighting. You know, I have my own promotional company, etc. You know, try to open some doors for some Pittsburgh fighters. You know, but the problem with that is nobody wants to fight nobody. You know, you don't run into too many guys like myself that will fight anybody. You know, fight the best to be the best. That's what we're here for. That's what I feel that the game is for. You know, I'm like a throwback fighter. I'm like them guys back in the day, you know, Jack Dempsey and Jack Johnson and all them dudes. Man, I'll fight once a week. But these guys today, man, they don't, you know, everybody don't want to fight anybody. Oh, that guy got too many fights, or he's too strong, or I'm not ready for that. I mean, what are you a fighter for? But right now, I'm focusing my attention on my book, Bless the Curse, my first 35 years. You know, I'm talking to some guys in Hollywood, a company that, a management company that did The Butterfly Effect and a couple other movies of that nature. So, yeah, we're looking to do some big things in 2013.
Now, I don't know why you're talking to anybody in Hollywood when you got the filmmaker of our time sitting right here next to you.
Right, sorry to have you sit next to Mike Bigliori there. He might ink a deal right now.
We should talk about that sometime. But you know what? I can vouch for what Rako said. There have been times that you told me about fights you were going to take, and I was thinking, man, that's rough to go into this guy's hometown and fight with him because you're going to have to kill him to get a decision.
Absolutely.
But you know, you took those fights, and you know, you've been very successful. I know your local promotion has, you know, you've had some good shows.
Yeah.
You work with Monty Clay.
No.
No. Who's your local fighters you're working with?
Man, I've had many of them on the card. I've had Ron Soka on the card. I've had Jason Bergman, Lee McGinnis, Jaquay Lutz. I mean, man, you know, you pretty much name them. I had them on the show. I stay away from these quote unquote these world class company fighters such as Monty Clay. I mean, we all know that world class is a defunct bankrupt company, but you know, people still, you know, want to I don't know, represent it, whatever, you know. But I stay away from those guys, you know what I mean, that company there, and those fighters, etc. Like I said, I prefer to deal with real fighters, you know. So that's that. But to the book. Yeah, you know, you said that Wild did on Hollywood. Hey, Hollywood got that money. That's where the money at, you know. Money talk.
As I can tell, he hasn't taken one too many to the head.
Hey, man.
He still has a few.
Hey, listen, money talks. You know, Hollywood got that big money. So, you know, we got to go where the big money's at. But no.
Well, maybe you can film it in Pittsburgh here.
Well, it will definitely be filmed in
just
Pittsburgh. I
checking
mean, this, you know, basically, you know, my whole life has been in Pittsburgh. You know, with the exception of the trips that I've traveled, you know, in different parts of the world, etc. But for the most part, yeah, it will be filmed here, and then also anything or any position that I can give a local writer or, you know, a filmographer or whatever you know they call themselves. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to do that.
And I tell you what, Ward, not to cut you
ahead.
off, talking machine. You know, I haven't read a book since Jack and Jill went up the hill, but I read this book. This is the best book. I couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I read it once, then went back and highlighted the books because I like the color.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man,
What did you say?
The first thing that I said that I told you after I read the book was, this is a book that's ready for the movies.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Well, I wanted to ask before he interrupted me, since he's a good guy here, but what is the plan here? Are you moving forward on something? Have you showed a script or anything, or have they just seen your book? Or are you just in the talk stage?
No, the first thing was they seen the book. They got the book, and you know, we've been doing some email correspondence and things like that there. I can't recall I can't think of the company's name off the top of my head, but they were very, very interested in the book. They said that, we feel that you have a very, very strong story to be told. Their only hesitation was the movie The Fighter, which the movie The Fighter took 4 or 5 years to make.
Right.
Because there was, people in it, then they backed out, and somebody else been it, then they backed out, marking them. Somebody had to come and bring their own money, etc. And the movie actually turned out a very, very big success. But that was the only hesitation because it took so long to make, and they had so many outs.
Well, what kind of time frame do they want you to put this movie together? Have they talked to that?
Well, no, that was just their hesitation on it. So what they did was, they contacted me and they said, we want get somebody to write the script. They said get somebody to write the script, and the last correspondence that I had was he actually put a director, somebody. He said the guy that I was talking to, his name is John Rosin. And he said, get somebody to write the script. That was the first thing. Get somebody to write the script, and if you can, come up with actual director, man, we
Don't
we
look
more
at
than
Mike too much because he's ready
he
for
said,
to be
well,
a director.
we more than halfway there. Now, now what I was doing, I was working with some guys, some guys that were filming my fights. They were doing some things for me, and it was it's a company. They were filming my fights and things like that there for me, and some other little stuff. And so I put them in touch with the guy John Rosin, and we're in the stages now of sending. They sent him budget, or what a budget would required, as far as a budget and things like that there. So. It's. I mean, it's. We're.
Are you doing this all on your own, or do you have like a group that's guiding you, or people that might want to invest with you? I mean, have you looked into things like that? Because a lot of Pittsburgh people get behind other Pittsburgh people.
Well, that's what I said. What I'm gonna try to do.
Investing wise, maybe.
Right.
Okay.
Well, what I'm gonna try to do, like I said, is whatever we may need, I'm gonna definitely try to incorporate Pittsburgh people first, and fill those gaps. Now, if I can't fill those gaps with Pittsburgh people, then I'm gonna let Hollywood do what they do.
Well, sure.
Now if
they did Batman here, so
this is what I'm saying. Now, if I can get people in certain positions, if they ask me, which if they pay me a whole lot of money, I don't need no rights. You go ahead and take it.
I understand that. We all understand that,
right? But for the most part, I'm gonna keep as many right or as much say so as possible. So I'm gonna try to put as many people.
You'll keep as much control as you possibly can.
Exactly.
And your percentage will be higher.
Exactly.
In theory.
Right.
Okay.
So
can you do us a favor? Not giving anything away from the book. Like I said, I love it. Can you just tell the people that's watching on TV a little bit about the book, what they can expect when they read it?
You can expect a lot of education. In the sense of on the educational side. I talk about many things, the school system, the teaching methods of yesterday and the teaching methods of today, why the United States has come into, and this actually came out after my book, but why the United States has come into, I think, 17th place or something like that there as far as, academically around the world, 17th. I mean, it's not even, wow, is there that many places, you know what I mean? But yeah, I talk about, whole word versus phonics system teaching. I go deep, man, into a lot of different things. Even though it's about my life, these things have touched my life. I was an AB student. A lot of people don't know that, but I do have some report cards that I'm gonna put on my Facebook and just let the people know. I got report card, all A's, 1B, things like that there, had IQ 138, things like that. Yeah. So, people don't know these things. I took computer language in high school, things like that. But the book, man, is it's the good, the bad. This is why it's called Blessed or Cursed. It talks about the streets and, my dealings and my experiences on the street. You know, a lot of things that I've seen, you know, as a youth, as far as, you know, drug use and things, you know, people in my family, and, you know, just a lot of different things, man, with the, you know, the criminal system, you know, dealings with some very known polices in the cities, and every name in the book is real. You know, I don't sugarcoat nothing. Every police officer name that's in my book is a real name, first and last.
So Rayco, you have nothing to hide, is what you're
Nothing.
saying.
Oh, if you flip to the first page, why give my disclaimer first? The first, or go to the second. It's a disclaimer in there. No, go flip it. I think you've seen it. Something about where I read my disclaimer in there.
Yes.
You're
a reader of this book?
Yeah, you can read that. You can read that.
Out loud?
And let the people know how real the book is. Just
All
let
right.
you know
You're
how
putting
real
me
the
to
book
test
is.
now for Rayco. Here we go. I graduated 6th grade. Twice.
Graduated, yeah.
It takes 3 tries to get one thing.
I did it twice. Come on. Dear reader of this book, I'm not making fun of this book, though, just so you know. I proclaim that everything you are about to read in this manuscript is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If anyone wishes to dispute anything that is written in this book, I, Rayco Sanders, am willing to submit to a polygraph examination to quash any and all disputes, providing that the individual being disputed first submit to a polygraph examination on any issue of my discretion. I think that explains it, folks.
Absolutely.
Very clear and to the point.
So this goes to show you that everything in this book, you know, how real it is.
How'd I do on reading that?
Oh, you did great.
Thank you.
You did great.
Can you tell our viewers where you can get the book?
The book is available at BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. You can go to RaycoWar.com. If you just Google "Blessed or Cursed," my first 35 years on the internet, it pops up all over the world. There's places all over the world. You know, I seen the book. I've even had pictures sent to me on Facebook where people can go to my Facebook. Germany,
your Facebook page.
Yeah, Germany. You know, just got it. Germany picture. I finally got it. You know, a guy from England posing with the book. You know, he got the book. Yeah, man. My Facebook is of course Facebook.com/RaycoWar. Then you got, I have actually 4 Facebooks.
That's why I'm telling you. I checked them all out because I wanted to see it.
I have Facebook.com/Blessed or Cursed, my first 35 years. Facebook.com/RaycoWar Saunders.
Anything else?
Yeah. You know, I have the athlete page, you know, the book page, the personal page. Then I have RaycoSaunders.com, the website, RaycoWar.com, the website. So, you know, I'm all over the place, man.
Yeah,
you just Google Rayco Saunders. I'm all over the place.
One of the things that's refreshing listening to you talk, and I was very impressed at the beginning when you said, you know, I want to fight the best.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's what's happened to the boxing game is that you don't see the best fighting the best. You know, in the late 70s and the early 80s, you saw some really, you know, some fierce competition, and they all wanted at each other. Yeah. And I think it's diluted it. But you know, to hear that there are people that's still out there. That,
absolutely.
That
you know, you have
like that. That's
Marvin Hagler, my favorite fighter all time. You know, that's my favorite fighter all time.
Never took a step backwards.
Never. Love
Never
Marvin,
took a step backwards.
Sugar Ray backed him up.
Well, come on. But you had those guys fighting each other. You had Thomas Hearns, you know, Chavez, Hagler, Hagler, John the Beast Mugabe. You know, I got these fights on DVD, man. You know what I'm saying? While I watch these fights, man. Exactly. Duran and you know,
Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello. I mean, they had
so
some
you
wars.
know now, you know what I mean. These guys, man, of today. It's just, you know, so it's like modeling or something now.
Mayweather doesn't fight anybody that he don't already know he can beat.
First,
and he's getting the whole purse.
Interject a couple of things here. First, I also have fights on DVD, and I have the Hagler-Leonard fight on DVD.
Yeah.
And it's labeled the crime of the century because that's the worst decision I've ever seen. And Jim Frazier knows that, just like he knows that Ray Lewis is not the greatest football player of all time. So, I don't know why you would bring that stuff up and say that again. And I'm not going to bring up Rod's name, but one of the fighters that you mentioned earlier, I know for a fact he won't fight anybody unless he's like a paraplegic.
But listen to what I said. I didn't say these guys won't fight anybody. I said the problem with Pittsburgh fighters is they won't fight nobody. I said, but I've had many guys on my shows, and I try to put them all on my shows. But we had some little issues with these so-called world-class fighters. The company's defunct and bankrupt and all that. So that goes to show you about their fighters. But that's what I said. I just said that I try to put all the Pittsburgh fighters on my shows, all of them. You know what I mean? So because it was a Pittsburgh thing. But I also told myself that if I have another show, which we're debating on it now, me and a couple of my guys. If I have another show, I'm putting all out-of-town fighters on. I will put Lee McGinnis, but everybody else out-of-town
Lee McGinnis is a nice fighter.
Yeah.
Nice fighter.
Yeah. Everybody else.
Since it takes a while
we
to
saw,
put on a card.
Jim and I did a lot of the Golden Gloves. So we saw a lot of Jaquay Lutz.
Yeah.
I have not seen him fight as a professional, but he was very impressive as an amateur.
Well, he's being trained. Well, he was being trained with me by his last year as an amateur, and I changed the style around it and changed it to a more professional, a more go-get-'em style. But now he's training with a guy named Tom Yankello. In his last fight, he hit the canvas. Last fight he hit the canvas, and they said he was getting hurt, man, every shot, and he ended up with a draw. But
I've mentioned a few times what I thought of the Yankellos too.
Well, Andre Taylor. His fight before this is his last fight. He went up in Atlantic City, man, and fought for the USBA and also the NABA. He hit the canvas 3 times, got knocked out in 12, was unconscious, But when I try to tell these guys, and I don't care, I don't pull no punches, when I tell them that Tom Yankello is a terrible trainer, and by the way, I'm not allowed in the gym anymore because Mento is a very good guy, very good friend. But when Mento was being trained by Tom Yankello stopped him in 3 rounds because I was to beat Mento up so bad that you had to stop it. Then when Kelvin Brock, top heavyweight at the time, he had eye problems now, so he doesn't fight anymore. But yeah, I put Kelvin Brock on the canvas, and a guy of my stature shouldn't do these things, but he was being trained by Tom Yankello. I've never sparred the light heavyweight, being trained by Tom Yankello because we already know what would happen. You know what I mean? And there's a couple guys that been trained by Tom Yankello, but they're cool with me, so I can't call them out. Right. But if we ever got uncool, I'll be hollering their names like crazy. I'm just not gonna do it. I have an issue. Everybody knows I have an issue with the Yankellos, and it is what it is. And but yeah, that's a very good book right there. Switch the subject. That's a very good book right there.
Well,
Best book I ever read.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming by.
Absolutely, man.
I could hold on for a few minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up, but I'd like to talk to you afterwards. And thanks for coming.
Pleasure to meet you.
He's going to let me read that.
Yeah, I'm going to let him read it.
And I'll give it back. I promise.
Absolutely. And I was say about the book, it's a non-fiction book that reads like a fiction.
Well, thanks a lot.
There you go.
And one last thing before you leave, in case a lot of people here in the South Hills and Bethel Park don't realize, you fought for your first world title outdoor fight at Heinz Field. It was the first outdoor fight in Pittsburgh in
50 years since Jersey Joe Walcott and Ezra Charles.
Wow, that's history there.
We got a world champion in the house.
I was in
Rayco Wars on.
Say no more. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Rachel. Yep. Got a little
Because
bit.
boxers don't fight anymore, I think I might turn to start watching MMA. I already believe that.
Let him train you.
I already believe that the WWE and WWF, I believe that's real. I watch that every Monday night. I'm already a fan. I'm already a fight fan.
As long as you wait till the show's over before you start watching.
He's watching right now, folks. Come to level 20 here. You can watch their big screens.
I
with
got a
Smoking
smartphone that I don't know how to use.
Well, you need a dumb phone like mine. You don't have to worry.
What is that?
I wanted to go ahead and mention.
Somebody's calling. Oh, they're not supposed to call this show. See us tomorrow night, folks.
We got a Matchbox car.
Whoa.
I wanted to go ahead and mention a sport that's somewhat forgotten here in Pittsburgh, but the college football season's coming up too. I've looked at a lot of different polls and stuff, and it's either USC, LSU, Alabama, or LSU, Alabama, USC, or whatever order you want to put them in, but that's all the predictions. I'm going to tell you right now that at the end of the year, Michigan is going to play Oregon for the national championship.
Whoa!
Write it down.
Bernard Robinson, huh?
Magic
Right.
Mike.
Bet on that.
Well, if LSU can get the honey badger out of rehab,
They can't.
they may play. But I think USC with Matt Barkley, I think Matt Barkley right now is better than Andrew Luck. Matt Barkley special. Everybody watch USC. And I tell you what, you can get a lot of money. USC plays in the soft conference. They're going to blow out your Oregon. Don't forget Oregon's quarterback left after his junior year this year for the National Football League, and he's still waiting at home with Dennis Dixon from Oregon for somebody to call his phone. So I believe that it's USC's year this year.
I don't know enough about it, but I'm going to study up on it, Smoking Jim. I'm going to check out yours and Mike's predictions there, and I'll do some studying up here so I can make a prediction.
But I'll guarantee you this, the team that'll win Quad A in football this year, Gateway Gators, maybe the greatest football high school team of all time. Mark it down. They're gonna get their revenge on Bethel Park, who beat them up at Heinz Field a few years back.
Wait a second, this is my hometown here. But
That's why we have you here.
Thank you. I'm proud to produce this show.
All right,
No respect here.
Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. It's been a great show. I want to thank Carissa Livingston, Shannon Falcon, and it was a great thrill to get to talk to Rayco War Saunders.
Yes, sir.
I'm Mike Migliore, Chip Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, Al Levine, the producing machine, and we'll see you
Talking
next
Machine.
week at the Level 20 Lounge.